Battlefield 6 is going to be getting a Battle Royale. A lot of what we've been hearing has been coming from some sources on Twitter, but it looks like there are a lot of details right now that are basically set in stone for the release of this Battle Royale mode. It looks like Battlefield does want to compete very strongly with Call of Duty, not just from a multiplayer game perspective, but also from the free-to-play Battle Royale perspective. I've never been a huge Battle Royale fan. I've never really been into any of the Battle Royale games. I played a bit of Warzone, a little bit of Fortnite, PUBG, Apex Legends, but nothing really substantial to say that I've played hours upon hours upon hours of those games. It's just a preference for me, but I'm not against Battle Royale as a genre. However, I am a little bit concerned with Battlefield 6's Battle Royale mode, and it mostly stems from what I've seen happening with Call of Duty and Warzone. So that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's video, so let's just get right on into it. According to Modern Warzone over on Twitter, Battlefield RedSec, as it's called currently, is going to be releasing on October 28 alongside Season 1's drop, and it looks like it's going to be sort of a shadow drop. Another source I saw on Twitter says that it looks like the update for the Battle Royale mode is going to be about 8 GB in sum, so obviously a lot better of a patch size than what we've seen in Call of Duty games where you had about like 30 GB at a time. So at launch, it seems like there's going to be 2 major playlists, duos, and squads, which are going to be the only team sizes at launch for this Battle Royale, and it seems like the player matches are going to consist of 100 players. So that would be a total of either 25 teams of 4 or 50 teams of 2 in each match. It seems like as well that matches are going to last around 25 minutes on average. This is a little bit disappointing for those of you who are more solo Battle Royale players. Now, if we do think back to Warzone, they did release with trios, so it's not super abnormal for Battle Royales to start out with more team-based kind of squads, but hopefully we'll be seeing some solo play for those of us who do enjoy solo play in Battle Royales later. Now, in terms of official details, we know that Battlefield's Battle Royale is going to feature the core kind of style of Battlefield gameplay. You've got classes, tactical destruction, and vehicle combat. It's going to have everything you will expect from a Battlefield game, but set in a more Battle Royale experience. My issue is that I think Battlefield is in a really good state right now, but my fear is that they are going to take a similar path to what Call of Duty did with the introduction of Warzone. Heavy emphasis on microtransactions, a lack of actual effort being put into the base game, too much emphasis being placed on the Battle Royale to the point where the actual core Battlefield game is ignored, a catering of every other Battlefield game after Battlefield 6 to just fit with the Battle Royale standards, and sort of an erosion of the Battlefield identity. When Call of Duty dropped Warzone way back in 2019, it was a huge deal because it kind of revived the Call of Duty franchise a bit, and it created a more easily accessible way for people to get into Call of Duty, and a lot of people ended up buying Modern Warfare 2019 as a result of playing Warzone and wanting to level up stuff faster. For a while, it felt like Warzone was actually a really good thing for the Call of Duty franchise, and it felt like it actually helped it, but then of course we started getting all of the negative effects that we saw as a result of the inclusion of Warzone. The parity between both multiplayer and Warzone created this weird situation where they wanted to monetize the base game the same way they were monetizing the free-to-play version. We had the introduction of more heavy microtransaction things like battle passes and skins and tokens and all that stuff. Now we've got a pro battle pass in Call of Duty, which is the Black Cell Pass. Call of Duty effectively started catering towards Warzone and fixing up Warzone while kind of ignoring the multiplayer experience and turning it into a sort of extension of Warzone. And this obviously upset a lot of people. I myself do kind of feel that Warzone contributed a ton to the way that Call of Duty is today. So with Battlefield 6, it's been a great game so far, and despite any of the small issues that I've dealt with, such as hit registration and things like that, which aren't a huge deal, not enough to detract from my experience, I think Battlefield 6 is doing a really good job at bringing back the Battlefield franchise. But the problem is Battlefield is now going to be releasing a Battle Royale. Now in and of itself, it's not a problem for them to obviously have a Battle Royale mode. It's more inclusive for a ton of players who maybe don't want to play Battlefield, but they like Battle Royales and they're looking for a Warzone alternative, it's obviously a smart decision to kind of go after Warzone in a time where its interest is low. It's not the first time that Battlefield has also made a Battle Royale, but it looks like this is going to be a little bit of a different situation than Battlefield 5's Firestorm, because this time they're going for the competitive scene. There's some Warzone streamers already that have announced that they're going to be focusing on Battlefield's Battle Royale, meaning that that's the push now to make Battlefield the next Warzone, or at least Battlefield's RedSec the next Warzone. We all saw that because Battlefield 6 returned to form for the Battlefield franchise, that it helped bring it back into the mainstream a lot. It was also a record-breaking release for Battlefield, and people were really excited after that beta. Obviously, they put a lot of effort into this. It would be a little bit weird for them to come along and sort of ruin that with a Battle Royale experience the same way that Call of Duty kind of did. Battlefield already is kind of pushing for the microtransaction system that we're seeing in Call of Duty, and I noticed that when they kind of dropped the Phantom Edition. It sounds very similar to the Vault Edition, where you have special skins and you've got special weapon sort of packages or whatever, and these sorts of things. And you get access to a battle pass and then a pro token. And it sounds like there's going to be something called Battlefield Pro. Whatever that is not super clear right now, but what it seems to me like is that you're gonna get something similar to the Vault Edition in Call of Duty. For those who are unfamiliar with what the Vault Edition is, it's basically just a premium version of the Battle Pass. So the regular Battle Pass that you can buy with Call of Duty points, that's about 1,100 points, or when translated into real dollars, it's $10. But the Vault Edition is something that you can't buy with points. You actually have to purchase it for around $30. It looks like something similar to this is going to be implemented in Battlefield 6, and it looks like Battlefield is kind of going for the Warzone formula. We've got duos and quads at launch, no solos, same as Warzone at launch, which had only trios, so no solo play basically. From some of the gameplay we've seen, it does kind of have a very Warzone vibe to it. There's going to be loadout drops, same kind of concept as Call of Duty's Warzone loadout drops, where you can have a customized weapon that you can get in game. There's going to be mobile redeploys, buy stations. A couple of differences are that number one, the circle is going to be much more punishing in the Battlefield Battle Royale, so it's an insta-kill circle. You will have to pick a class to load into the Battle Royale with, so one of the core Battlefield classes. There's specific gadgets that you can use, so it is a Battlefield experience in a Battle Royale sort of setting. On the one hand, this does sound like it's a good thing because it will bring more players inevitably to Battlefield. Maybe it'll be a bit of an alternative to Warzone for people who are just bored of Warzone at this point, and it might stay its own experience. It's not necessarily known if they're going to do what Call of Duty did, where the two things are kind of integrated together. What I'm hoping for personally is that the Battle Royale and the multiplayer just stay their own separate ways, that the movement doesn't have to adjust for each, that the weapons and the skins and things like that don't have to adjust for each. Another concern of mine is that the microtransaction thing sort of spills over from Call of Duty into Battlefield, where you start getting these weird, wacky, cartoony, goofy skins because the Battle Royale base is a little bit different than the core multiplayer base, but they have this sort of parity between them in Call of Duty. One thing that Battlefield can do to make sure that it doesn't end up the way Warzone is to just not make the same mistakes that Warzone has made, which are very easy to identify and highlight over the last couple of years we've had Warzone. When they dropped Warzone 1 for Warzone 2 and completely overhauled and ruined the game, where they started introducing these terrible skins that have no place in Call of Duty, when they tried to make it Fortnite, knowing well that the reason people are playing Warzone is because it's not Fortnite, when they started messing with the movement system, when they started ruining the actual core game just to fit Warzone, these are some very identifiable mistakes that Call of Duty has done that if Battlefield avoids, could actually do a really good job at balancing the existence of a free-to-play Battle Royale with the base paid game. Ultimately, there are going to be microtransactions, there's going to be battle passes and seasons. This is sort of the live service kind of model that every game is taking nowadays, but genuinely, I do not want to see Battlefield get ruined by a Battle Royale the same way Call of Duty has been ruined by Warzone. They seriously need to pay attention and do things right this time, because this could genuinely hurt the future of the Battlefield franchise if it's not done properly. I will be trying out Battlefield's Battle Royale because I am curious to see how it's going to be in comparison, especially with Warzone, just because that's the most similar game, at least in terms of concept. But in any case, hopefully the same mistakes that we saw in Warzone don't get repeated here, because Battlefield is genuinely doing a good job, and Battlefield 6 is genuinely a great game. I would hate to see it ruined by Battle Royales. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what you feel about this new Battle Royale. Like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications set to all so you don't miss out on another upload, and that's all for today, folks.